just in case. Okay. Hi guys, it's Fiona McDonald-Bayliss here with Tea with Fee, and we've got some yummy people on the line. Oh, I'm just being told that it's time for my Zoom, so it's starting on my iPad as well, so we'll just stop that. Cool. So, awesome. So I'm just back from 4 months in Europe, traveling to the most stunning places. My husband Tony called us culture vultures, and we always usually go and see lots of birds, recording birds, because he's a wildlife sound recordist. So we always go and do lots of birding in national parks and stuff. And a couple of years ago, I kind of said, oh, we always do that. So this time we went and we became culture vultures, and we went to Versailles, Les Chartres, Bordeaux, Lourdes, Madrid, Seville, Lisbon, but so many different places. There are too many to mention. But and I just realised, you know, how fortunate I am, and I've just been blessing my life. And actually, for 4 months, I really just beed. I did a few clients online, but I actually chose intentionally to have that time out. Now, one of the reasons I chose, is there a reason for anything? I chose to do that. The past 3 years has been very intense in a number of ways for me. I lost my mother, I lost my aunt who was like a sister, and last year I lost my father. Now, I'm pretty okay with people passing over in spirit, and even my family, I was okay with that. And yet somewhere, I'd become a bit of a workaholic. I'd been kind of busying and keeping going and going and going. And I realized that actually a part of me needed to just take time out and just be. So I had the biggest blessing to be able to go with my husband, and we picked up our little sports car Mazda MX-5 and did a trip. So, and what I really gained from that, it was about allowing everything and everyone I was doing my best to, and I failed abysmally at times, I was doing my best to come from infinite being. You know, we're infinite beings, and we've chosen these mortal coils, these bodies, and how amazing are they, really? These incredible sensory systems that give us every piece of information that we can ever request or require. Our bodies have its own consciousness. We can ask a question, feel light and heavy. Our body gives us all those sensate kind of vibes. So there's such a gift. And it was that awareness of me being with my body and yet being this phenomenal infinite being that we actually all be, and making everything insignificant, and also not piping up, because I can talk for everyone, you know, I can talk for forever, and yet it was not talking about myself to anyone unless I was asked a question. Now, it's very interesting the amount of energy you gain and replenish when you're not intending on telling people about your world, about what you've seen, about where you've been, about where you're at, and all your points of view, unless you're asked a question. And very few people asked me questions, funnily enough. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, who's created, he's pulled together and also created a lot of the tools in Access Consciousness, and they are phenomenal. They've certainly changed my life, and I know they've changed a lot of yours. He says, be interested, not interesting. And when he said that to me, something just doinged in my universe, and I've been playing with that for quite some time. He actually talks about the story years ago when he would invite a young lass to dinner at his place, and she would maybe ask a question or two of him, but he never answered it. He always just asked her another question and another question, showing interest. So he was interested in her, and that interested in her either got her to stay the night or he dropped her off. And very invariably it was she'd stay the night, and then the next morning she'd say, you're the most interesting person I've ever met. because basically the majority of people are interested in themselves. I went out for dinner with one of my best mates in the world, Michael, in Ireland. And he said, oh, come out with this lovely lady, you know. So we went to have dinner. And I sat there very happily, very peacefully, in this triangle. Triangles have always been interesting my entire life. They're great to clear if you've got triangles with anybody, children, parent, third party, in any situation. And he became very aware, Michael became very aware of the situation. And this gorgeous girl, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous girl. And he's always been enamored by her. So he's always making her right and boosting her up because she's gorgeous. And I sat there, and not once was I asked a question by her. And also he was asked one question through this dinner, and it was about him talking about something that she required to know. Now, there's no fixed points of view here. There's no judgment about that. It was just interesting to witness this very clearly. And Michael also, for the first time that he was with her, actually really saw and became aware that she fills in the gaps. It was all about her. And that was absolutely fine. And I thoroughly enjoyed the situation. But he had that awareness then. And so how many people in your world are actually asking you questions and are interested in you? Many? A few? Lots? None? Very few. And when I started to actually live in this way, the energy, I don't have to expend any energy anymore telling and trying to get somebody's attention about me and my world. Michael, he's a lovely Irish man. He calls them, in Irish, he calls these people Mayfainers. Oh, they're a Mayfainer. And Mayfainer in Irish means me, myself, myself. So everywhere you are choosing to be interesting rather than interested, and just allowing, when you allow that, people, you see who people are, and then you can choose, do I want to continue to be with these people, or do I just, it's just cool to let them go? And it's whichever is light for you. So everywhere you're choosing to fill in the gaps, and by filling in the gaps, I mean, it was funny, I said to my husband, I've got no idea what I'm going to talk about. And here I am rolling on with it. By that, I mean filling in the gaps. It's about comfortable distance. So there are certain people that you can be with, and you've got that natural silence. You can just hang out together and you don't have to say anything. It's just a beautiful, comfortable space that you can both be in. And if something pops up to talk about, then it does. But we create a comfortable silence by filling in the gaps. So when you're with someone, and often at a dinner table, if there's a few people around and there's this silence, you become aware of this energy that you could kind of cut through. And I've stopped filling in the gaps. I'm allowing that kind of uncomfortable silence to be actually more comfortable. So just play with that and see. I'm sure you probably do it already, but I had to learn to do that, to not fill in the gaps. So what, I can't even remember what I was talking about before. I didn't do a clearing on it. So everything that's brought up, let's destroy and uncreate it, all times to Godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, eye shorts, boys and beyonds. So guys, where are you at in your world? And thank you for coming on. I'm so honoured. I've been away for 4 months. I've Skyped, I think, the past month. I've done a live Facebook once. I've Skyped from Tea with Fee. And I thought, gosh, I better get my arse in gear. I got back yesterday and I thought I better do a Tea with Fee, otherwise I'm going to, you're going to disappear. But really gorgeous to see you all. Hello, Izzy. Hey, Izzy, and all of you. So do any of you have any... Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for coming on. Have you got any questions that you would like to address? What's up in your world? You know, use me, use me, use me, and let's see where we can go with this. Let's see where we can go with Tea with Thea. Has anybody got any questions? Because you're the ones that create this call, not me being a chatty Kathy, although I can be. So, anybody?
May I ask something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Sharon.
it's about what you were talking. Yes, it's about what you were talking about, because I recently separated and I'm doing this online dating thing, and then you go, and I only went to one date, and I noticed that people just don't like the end of your sentences. They ask you something, you get 3 words into it, then they start talking, and then you mention you do something like, oh, I like music and I've been, and then they don't even say, oh, do you have an instrument? Or do you know what I mean? And they just then go on to talking about themselves. And so I don't even quite know what the question is there. It's like, yeah, it's going to be give and take. It's sort of like, and they're probably nervous, and I'm probably a bit nervous too.
Yeah.
That you want somebody, I agree with you, to listen to people and see where they're at and stuff. That's very important. But then where's the energy? Where's the not the balance, but maybe the balance of when it's your turn. It's your turn to have the ball, and they're not taking and giving you a turn. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely, it does. And so, are you the potency in your world? Are you the dominant reality in your world?
Sometimes.
Okay, so everywhere you're choosing to allow others to be the dominant reality, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all that so that you can choose constantly? Yeah, cool. Everything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, there's quite a lot of people that have just joined Tea with Fee. So that gobbledygooch I just said is actually the clearing statement of Access Consciousness. And Access Consciousness is verbal tools and processes, body also, to clear and create anything that you would like to dynamically clear or create in your reality. www.theclearingstatement.com will get you to a YouTube or clearing statement, and you can find out more about it. But you don't have to know anything about it. You can just use it, or whatever that thing Fiona said. It bypasses the conscious mind and it goes straight to the energetic levels. It's like asking a question. You're always asking a question. You bring up an energy, and using the clearing statement clears as much of that as possible. And sometimes you have to use it again and again, and sometimes it just clears that particular energy in a blip. So now, so Sharon, so what is it you would actually like to create with the dating site that you're on?
Some friends and some a possible partner, but only someone that I can have a creationship with rather than a relationship with.
Right.
So someone who's is interested in me, but also allows me to be who I am and cares about my choices, not just their own choices.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Yeah.
Sure.
Would you go out with you?
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, you would?
Yes.
Because I don't know if I'd go out with me, actually.
Why not? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
a clearing statement.
Yeah. So everything that is, let's just try and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, no shorts, boys, girls. I know what I know, and I know what I'm choosing, and I've got very clear about that. And I suppose, I suppose I'm quite high maintenance to a degree, but it's just asking that question. I thought, gosh, would I go out with me? So you would go out with you, yeah?
Yes, because I'm wanting to do the things where you just allow things to happen, and having
okay,
things
can I ask
light
you something
and
there? Do you allow things to
Yes.
happen, or do you consciously and choose to, do you actually create them yourself?
Yes, interesting. Both, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a creator, aren't you? You know. So have you done much of the Access Consciousness classes?
I've did the bars in February, weekly practices, and I'm listening to YouTubes and
Brilliant,
is
brilliant.
with Zar on Let's Create Magic. That's been
Yeah,
good.
she's gorgeous. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So you've got so you've got that awareness that you're the creator of your reality.
Yes,
Yes,
and it's a work in progress.
yeah.
Or yeah.
I always say we are works of art in progress, you know.
Thank you. Yes, I like that better.
We
Work in
are works of
progress.
art in progress, and everything that doesn't allow you to know that you are the dominant um, the dominant energy in your reality, everything that doesn't allow you to be that, to know, be, perceive and receive that with ease, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Yeah,
Yes,
I'm good
please.
about popcorn eye shorts, boys and beyonds. And what fun can you have? Now, the one thing that's really I'm aware of is that anything that you're not willing to be, and it's a choice to be it, darling. I'm just gonna mute you, darling Jennifer. I'm just gonna mute you because there was a little bit of noise on the line for the recording. Anywhere you're not willing to be something, e.g., if you're not willing to be a bitch, if you're not willing to be a nasty cow, if you're not willing to be unkind, it's not to say that you will be that. It's that if you haven't allowed that in your universe, you've actually chopped off some of consciousness, because consciousness allows everything and judges nothing, right? So everything that you're not willing to be, whatever that is, would you be willing now to allow it in your universe, allow yourself to be it, so you can choose it rather than cut off that part of you? And then if you're cutting off that part of you, you will meet that in your reality, because your reality is constantly saying to you, hello, hello, you know. So all the bitches, all the backstabbers, all the judgment, all the, you know, all of those, you know, if you've made a promise to not be that, you're going to meet it, so that you can own, claim and acknowledge it all. Yeah, so you're willing to do that now? Is everybody willing to claim and acknowledge everything that they've denied, promised and vowed not to be in this lifetime and all other time, space, dimensional realities? Yeah. Oh, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and uncreate at all times, a quadrillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, corner, shorts, boys, girls. There's a lot of energy on that. There's a lot.
Should we call them warts? We've just got given ourselves wart cream.
Yes, exactly that. So all the warts and all the barnacles on all the bums of the consensus reality that we've ever chosen and created, denied, everything where we've resisted and reacted, aligned and agreed, made ourselves wrong, and never ever choosing to be whatever that is. Let's destroy and uncreate it all times gazillion. Oh, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, corner, shorts, boys, girls. And let everything that is, that's solidifying in our future. Let's just do a 1, 2, 3, 4 a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's created more ease, more ease. Awesome, cool. So Sharon, I've been playing with the idea of this relationship call thing, which is about dating. I mean, I've been out with so many men, I've lost count, right? So when I found my husband, when I created my husband, when I was 36, it was like, when I met him, I said, I would never be able to have a relationship with you. I would never support your drinking habit, you know, totally and utterly wiped him off the floor. And I think that gave him like a light, you know, like a light to him was like, because he couldn't have me, he wanted me. And he was the first man I think I ever had met that I went, I'll have a little affair with you, but I'll never go out with you. And I actually married him. And the reason I married him because I wasn't playing any of the normal patternings and plans and psychological plays that I played, because to me, he wasn't my Prince Charming. So all the fantasies I had out the window, he came in because I didn't use any of those things because I wasn't interested. So isn't that extraordinary? So everywhere there's any patterns of in play, any fixed points of locks, anything that's locked in, any relational digitizations, any fantasies about love, life, soulmate, and romance. Let's now destroy all of that times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, purple, con, eye, shorts, boys, girls. Because we're sold down the Swanee, aren't we? You know, when we're little girls, it's like Prince Charming, Cinderella. Then we watch all these rom-coms and we cry, and it's like, oh my God, I have that. You know, speaking from personal experience here. So you know, it's like, but I have to say, if I can change it up, anyone can. Anyone can. I was very wounded. I was very codependent. I was very controlling. I was very jealous. I was very possessive. And I have to say, I'm not any of those things now. So if and it's not just Access that has brought me there. I've spent my whole life working on myself, you know, and just improving and creating and realizing, you know, that if we're any of those things, it's a lie. It's an absolute invention and lie. And I was so locked in my story. So anywhere everybody's inventing lies and buying them as real, and anybody that's locked into a story that's like Groundhog Day, different man but same story, different man, new face, same story. Would you be willing to give that all up now, please? Yeah. Oh, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate at all times, a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, popcorn, ice, shorts, boys and beyonds, and all the kind of, I'm just so aware of all this kind of sadness and almost like heaviness and grief around the love story. You know, what is that love story that we keep buying into that just... So all the little girls, all the little boys that we've been, and we've been sold down the Swanee with that, and we've been giving our potency away to being locked into somewhere there's a fantasy that isn't even real. So everything that is, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, con, eye, shorts, boys, meals, all the jails and the MC2 squared that we keep using to keep buying into this story of love, romance, soulmates that we keep choosing, and bastardizing ourselves in the process, rather than just choosing in these next 10 seconds what we're actually going to create. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, con, eye, shorts, boys and beyond, times again. So awesome question, Sharon. Thank you. I'm just going to look
I didn't think I was going down the romance thing. It was more kind of like
No, you just took me on that. Yeah. You took me on a divergent path.
It's just like, say, for example, like I hear Jane say, you get a heavy when they ask you something. The other night I got asked to go to this pizza bar on the wharf, and I got this heavy thing, and it wasn't there. It was somewhere overlooking a road, and it was horrible. The lights were bright, the pizza was bad, and I kind of knew. And I was in the middle of the sentence saying, "Oh, when I've looked up at that place and saw these people sitting on the veranda," and I was about to say, "Why? How about we go to where the wharf was, to another place to change it up?" And he said, "Oh, well, you can't have everything." And I ended up going to this place, and it was a waste of money and time, because he didn't want to hear the end of my sentence. So that's what it's like. I'm going with this judgment and expectations, and maybe I'm judging him too much because he was nervous. Maybe. Do you see what I mean? All these like expectations, and like how far you allow people to be stupid, and how far you allow the light and the heavy, and it's a bit of a jumbling act. No, but I don't want Prince Charming.
No,
Yeah.
you just took me on that path of, you know, the energy of other people that are going to be listening to this call, and whatever
Yeah.
that is. But would you be willing to leave sooner in future? Would you be willing just to get up and go and says, this isn't working for me, when it stops working for you? Would you be willing to be that potent bitch?
Only if they were really horrible. Because I think it's okay to maybe well, he's probably not for me, but he's probably an alright person to have in my circle as a friend, and not wanting to hurt people's feelings.
So would you be willing
yeah.
now? Would you be willing, as the infinite being and potent being that you be, to actually hurt people's feelings?
Not maliciously, no.
Do you see, like, all of consciousness allows everything. If you're not willing to be that, you don't have to choose it, but you have to allow it. So would you be able to allow that possibility in?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah.
So everything that doesn't allow that with ease, right, about popcorn, nice shorts, boys and beyonds. It's seeing what you won't do, and then allowing that in your universe, so that you can actually choose more freely. Because if you're not able to allow that, it means that you've cut part of the oneness that you be off. And that means you're not one, you're not fully conscious.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So for example, I made a promise as a child when I was very young, because there was somebody in my midst that was very cruel and unkind. And I promised that I was never, ever, ever going to be like that. So I spent my entire life proving that I was kind, because a part of me believed that I was unkind, right? So when I destroyed and uncreated the conflicting reality of having to prove, because I am naturally a kind person, you know, I love being kind, I love being generous. That's who I be. It's innate in me, you know.
Yes.
So with that, when I destroyed and uncreated the conflictual reality of that, I now choose to be that, but I no longer have to prove it. Yeah.
Yeah, so your body and your being are more in line. Yes, that's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm in congruence now with that. Yeah, so everywhere anybody's doing that, will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nice shorts, boys and beyonds. Thank you, guys. I've got some new people on the line tonight. That's so gorgeous. It's really lovely to have you here. I'm just going to read the group chat. My fairy goddaughter's on. Ra, how awesome is that? Dale, thank you for this. Lovely to see you again. Thank you, Dale. Be interested, feel so light. It so does. And it frees you up, like the energy that you have. And, you know, if I'm sitting at a dinner table and I'm with a group of people, which is, you know, well, it's kind of rare in some respects. I just play energy games. I kind of feel it sounds so rude, doesn't it? But if there's a lot going on and it's kind of not my cup of tea, because so many people actually just want to talk about rather mundane things in my fixed point of view, I start playing energy games. I start kind of creating space in somebody's world. I kind of ask questions, and I just go, oh, what else is possible? And I spin some light vibe energy around the whole group and expand it. And often it will change the whole vibration and the whole space, and actually becomes much more interesting, you know. So I just play with the energy. I play with so many different aspects, and also I do I tap my fingers. I do this under the table if I'm kind of a bit bored or there's a bit stress. I actually do that. Those are tapping, sort of secondary tapping points. I do EFT. So I do that underneath the table sometimes if there's a little bit of tension or stuff. I just play. You know, now you know if I ever have dinner with you and I'm going, you'll know what I'm doing. Anyway, okay. What can I do have that would make my heart sing? please, I just got reunited with my grandson today after years of separation, and his two children and his new wife came, and we had magic moments, and my heart is singing now with that reunion. How does it get any better than that? How beautiful is that? That's gorgeous, Colleen. That's so, so lovely. And you know, the key to creating what we're choosing in our lives is to have no conclusion. Keep asking questions. As soon as you get what you desire and require, keep asking questions, or you're going to flatline. Keep asking questions. Keep promoting that energy. Is to be that frequency. So in the morning when I'm playing with creating my day, I become the energy of what I'm asking for. So in a way, if you haven't got what you're asking for, e.g. Sharon hasn't got this beautiful man that she's going to be meeting very soon, it's about being the energy of, wow, I'm with this amazing man. And what is that sense like in my body? What is it? How is that going to expand? And actually to be the frequency vibration. You cannot create what you are not already being. You can't. So that's the key. And that's, you know, the film The Secret? Abraham Hicks. If you don't know Abraham, check out Abraham. I love Abraham Hicks. The reason they decided to pull out of the film The Secret, although you can probably see them in the original version, was because the one word was taken out of that movie. One word was taken out of that movie, and it was the word vibration. And that is the key. Vibrational frequency, being what we be, is going to be the next creation of what we are, which is, you know, what will it take to actually all the encumbrances and hinderings and holdings back and judgments and holding on to resentments and all of that kind of stuff. Where does that actually get you? It doesn't. It gets you creating more of that. It gets you in a constricted reality. And if you're the only one in there, if you're the only one creating a reality, which you are, unless you're allowing other people to create it, then it's going to be a very interesting journey for you. So that is so beautiful. Keep being the energy of that. So how that was today with your grandchildren, how it was, get that energy right now. Just be the energy of that joy, that effervescence, that elevation in your energy. And would you be willing to times it by 1,000? And all you have to do is ask, and it's there, times 1,000, and times another 100,000, times a billion, zillion, and just keep expanding that energy and just bring it up and keep expanding it. And you will then invite more of it in. You know, it's so simple, and we complicate it. I complicate it. Seriously, I know I complicate it. And yet these 4 months for me has totally and utterly transformed me in every sense of the word. So how does it get any better than that? And I am so blessed. My life is so blessed. I'm very, very fortunate. So any questions, guys? Any questions? Any more questions? Why does it feel heavy for me to leave my ordinary, unsatisfying job in order to become a full-time artist, even though that's all I want to be? Wow. Well, how invested are you in being normal and fitting in to the consensus reality? I wonder. Can I hear you? Will you talk to me? Will you come off mute? Oh, I know, actually, you've just had a little operation, haven't you, darling? So maybe you don't want to talk. All right, you don't have your microphone. No worries. Well, with that one, I would destroy and uncreate your ordinary, unsatisfying job, everything that's holding you there, everything that's keeping you there, all the, is it money that's keeping you there? Is it that quantum leap into being a full-time artist? And I would destroy and uncreate all the, what full-time artists, you know, everywhere you've been an artist in Paris, France, and the only reason you were actually revered The only reason you got revered was if you died, and if you sold something, you were actually, you know, thrown to the wolves. You were no longer a real, true artist. So all the poverty of artistry and everything that brings up in all time, space, dimensional realities, where you destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, eye, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And also, you know, all that energy around that ordinary, unsatisfying job. What about destroying and uncreating that and actually enjoying it every 10 seconds? It's almost like I get that how much of that is actually locking you in to creating more of it, that dissatisfaction, and how much of it is keeping you locked in. And what if, as you did before, take a quantum leap? What if you can just quantum leap now and run bars, because you're a bars practitioner? And you can make really good money doing a bars practitioner. I'm teasing her here, guys, because I know she hasn't been running bars, and she's just, this girl Rachel, her energy is just so divine, and running bars with her would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, I don't know, I like the consistency of money, but that's about it. You're so good for me. Also good. So any also I wonder if there's any energy around that, Rachel, any fixed points of view that you've bought, or other people's projections and expectations, judgments, rejections, segregations, separations, conclusions, and computations that they've come to, that you've picked up, like the rest of the world. Would you destroy and uncreate all that, please? Yeah. Ooh, oh gosh. Right, one, good, bad, popcorn, eye, shorts, boys and beyonds times a gazillion. Wow. Oh, so truth, is there an entity around that, truth? No. Just I'd keep destroying and uncreating the projections and expectations that you have of leaving, of the job, and everywhere you're picking it up. You know, awesome. Dose, my block came up while I am going forward. New C job, etc. I don't understand. I don't get what that is, guys. Your dose, my block come up while I'm going forward. Can you be a little bit more clear, please? And everything that doesn't allow me to be completely getting that. Hi.
Mistyping.
What did you say, darling? What was it?
Well, every time I go so far, I get a blockage. Like the new job, the position came up. Now there's a blockage going forward to achieving it. New people come in, like with my business, and then there seems to be a blockage in the connection or the workings to go forward to achieve the end result. And it seems to be a common thing that before I did access, and even still, and I can't find what that is, what the blockage is stopping me doing what I need to do, the action, stopping the action of completion. I think is that you know what I mean? It's
okay,
just,
so right
I know
there,
there's a blockage there, but I can't find what it is.
Yeah, so right there, Jennifer. So everywhere you're looking for an end result and coming to a conclusion, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, and everywhere you're looking for a result, let's destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, eye, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so can you give me more information? Like I'm not getting...
I looked for a job, my dream job. It came to me. I applied for it. He said it was exactly what I'm looking for, but then there was blockages in getting my resume in and putting it together and all that sort of stuff, and then getting it in. Then there seems to be a blockage in my action to complete the story to get an end result.
Oh, right, now I'm with you. So everywhere you're resisting and reacting, and there's a part of you that doesn't want to give up your freedom completely of your world right now. Would that be a possibility?
That's a given. Yeah.
So everything that is, we just try and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. So what if...
a doubt.
Yeah. So all the distractor implants and explants in your body and energy bodies, let's destroy and uncreate all them and all the shikha that lock them in place, the secret, hidden, cover, unacknowledged, invisible, destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, shorts, boys and beyonds. And are you really willing?
Is there an access practice to keep that unblocked? Or like I use the lock and the key, and I use how much better can I get than this, and what else is possible, and interesting point of view, that interest.
Yeah, I get. So yeah. Would it be the actual action that's required? Because it's action. There's all this clearing and energy and stuff, but it's actually the action to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So would you be willing? Yeah.
Everything else, like what I'm supposed to, like stay on target and then have the energy, I suppose. I get tired and I'm not tired, but my body finds all sorts of things to.
Yeah.
And so
everything that is, let rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate at all times of good Cillian. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on shorts, boys, beyonds. And truth, do you really, really, really want this dream job? Truth.
I think so.
I've been procrastinating. Let's follow the energy. Let's follow the energy. So truth, yep. Do you really desire to choose and be at this dream job? Truth.
I believe so.
There's a part of me that's kind of going, really? Do you really? Really? There's a part of me, it's almost like there's some kind of headspace that's going, yes, yes, yes. But there's a huge part that's actually not choosing it.
True.
Really. So then it's just destroying and uncreating all the conflicting realities around that. And then going, if I choose this in 5 years' time, if you choose this dream job in 5 years' time, you will be. And if you don't choose this job, right there. So would you like to give that one up?
I would. I'd like to do it now because
destroy and uncreate all the I'm too old. Can you say that 3 times, please?
Destroy and uncreate the I'm too old. Destroy and uncreate the I'm too old. Destroy and uncreate the I'm too old.
And everything that doesn't allow that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, call, night, shorts, was yes, you old cow. You old cow. Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pop, call, night, shorts, boys, beyonds. Are you an infinite being?
Yes.
Right. So in the light of all eternity, are you just a babe?
Oh, definitely. I'm just a sparkle in somebody's eye.
Yay, right. So there you go. So everything that doesn't allow you to be in the light of all eternity, just a babe, always at the beginning. This now is the beginning of the next 10 seconds of what we're creating. The past is a black void. It's not there. It's not there.
Yeah,
the only way we can know the future is perceiving whispers of it, and then being the energy of what we're choosing to take into our future. So everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all, please, times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, following the energy of, if you choose this job in 5 years' time, you will be. And if you don't choose it in 5 years' time, you will be. Which is lightest, to do the job or not do the job?
To do the job.
Yes.
I believe it's something I want to go back and retest myself with.
Right, for destroy and uncreate, believe,
I wasn't in a good headspace.
Going back, let's destroy and uncreate all that, about, going back, about retesting. Can you eject that out of the water, please?
Forward to test my
Sorry, darling, what are you saying?
Yes, okay, I understand, yeah.
Rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and uncreate.
I want to go and test myself.
So for what reason would an infinite being want to test itself?
Oh, righto. Okay. I want to go and have a look and see what it's like.
So what about just having fun? What I used to do. Fun. Would you be willing to do it just for fun?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Yes.
So everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, perceive, and receive the fun, the joy.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah, cool.
So I've got to keep looking at the happy side, not the sad
You
side.
don't.
Yeah, like I was telling Emily. Yeah.
What about just in this next 10 seconds? What can you choose? What can you choose?
Happiness.
Right, just choose what in this next 10 seconds. So can you tomorrow put your CV together and go and get that job? Would you be willing to do it?
Yeah, it's in already. What tomorrow I ring up and find out, have you received it? Where do I see
You've
it?
done
What
it.
do I do next?
Cool. Excellent.
And
So it's in the pipeline.
Yeah, I've done. And then with the other part of that's connecting with people and then following up with people is what I'm
cool.
At odds with. Yeah. So how do you live in the 10 seconds when you get sad? How do you
well, I always ask,
you say those things, but
I mean, I've had to let quite a lot of people go to the other side, and also people that just don't want me in their universe anymore, and I can get sad about that, and I can allow my body to cry, because the body can get cries. And or you can just go, for what reason would an infinite being be sad? So for what reason would I be sad? So I'm just buying a lie. I'm buying a lie. And yet, we can allow ourselves to be self-indulgent at times, and to cry and to sob and to all of that, because that's what we do sometimes. That's what we can choose. And the body needs to release things. The body is the one that cries. The body is the one that's locked up and held maybe billions of people's sadness for years and years, or something critical, So the body has to, which is why all the body processes are so wonderful. Yeah. So
I dig that, because I used to get in a bundle and ball up and cry for ages and ages and ages. Now I have a cry, but then I can pull myself up and pull myself out, where I never used to be able to do that.
Yeah, so and it's basically what happens is, as we use these tools, when we get into that space, we come out of it faster, sooner, quicker, because we've got these tools, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're conscious and everything just flows and is amazing and wonderful, because that's not how life is on this planet. There are other things it can create, but the tools are there to create ease, not easy, but ease with whatever. And let's face it, the more aware we become, the more challenging it can actually be sometimes, So also, please that everywhere my allowance is not exceeding my awareness, destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, popcorn, ice, shorts, boys and beyonds.
But that's a good one to say, everywhere my allowance is not exceeding my acceptance.
Yeah.
Righto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what's great, Yeah. And also it's
just
like
getting a few things.
Sorry, darling, you keep cutting out and I keep cutting you off. Say that again.
No, you're doing the same on my side. You get there and you're stuck.
Well, let's destroy and uncreate the sticky stuck, shall we? Hey? Everything that is, destroy and uncreate it all, right, wrong, good, bad, because you're the only person that's sticking, and me, okay? Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, ice, shorts, times a good. Awesome, thanks, darling. Okay, so talk to me about the past black void. It's the memories and stories. Yeah, well, that's my own take on it. Every time we bring the past here and now present, it's like dragging our dead mules behind us, and when you get that vision of dead mules and you're pulling the dead mules behind you, you kind of go, why would I carry them? For what reason would I carry the dead mules behind me? So you kind of chop them off and leave them behind. What if every moment right now we could be new, 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 new? What if this moment is like a fresh, and we are virgins to this new moment in consciousness? And actually, that's actually exactly what it is, because the only moment that exists is right this moment. We're virgins to this moment. Hey ho, how does it get any better than that?
The thing about this is that, yeah, that's hilarious. The thing is about that is it's capacities. It's all this stuff with stories. Now, and then I'm going to tell a story to explain. I mean, when I was a small child, my nana was a brilliant storyteller. We'd get into bed on Sunday morning, we'd listen to radio shows. I love books. I love songs. Songs are stories. Movies are stories. And there's lots of cool stories. And then there's stories when we're wanting to help people, if we're in the health professional. And, you go, right, and then you start, you get this awareness later driving down the road in the car. Well, maybe this person's things off here and I could help them by this way. And your memories come up and surface later for you to go tick, 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 and I'll investigate that area. And all of these sorts of things. And some of that's a capacity, and then some of it loops. And yeah, I don't even know quite. I'm still trying to come to this grip of don't ask the story and don't tell the story when it's actually one of my capacities.
So can stories be healing and nurturing and energizing and inspiring?
Yeah, if they're not full of lies, yes.
Exactly, they can. And I often will tell a story of something that's gone on, to use it as it's what we're talking about with that in that way in the past is when it's just, will you get over yourself? The person that keeps telling the same thing over and over again, that gets stuck, that justifies with their story, that it's victimized by their story, is using it as an excuse, and we do it constantly without even being aware of it. Unconsciously we do that. Oh, if I do that, oh, what's going to happen because of what's back then, which is what the clearings are all about. We use the clearing statement basically to constantly clear all the millions of lifetimes that we've been ensconced and locked into fixed points of view, victims. I mean, we have all murdered, plundered, raped. We have stolen. We have done the most heinous crimes ever. We are now seeking to change that. It's the sinners that makes the saints. I don't care what anybody says, but I know I've done all of that. Hey, if you guys are pure and virginal and haven't done any of that, power to you. I honor you greatly. But I know, I read a book many years ago called The Red Lion, which is meant to be a novel, but hey, maybe it's not, by a woman called Maria Zepes, Zepes. She died a few years ago. And when I read that book, I cried my eyes out. And I cried my eyes out for hours. It was about a guy. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. If it's light for you to get it and read it. But it's basically, it was about all the lifetimes that we have lived when we have been less than kind. We've been less than, we've been raging warriors. If you look at all of history of this, just this planet alone, let other realities and other places we've been, it's pretty full on, And what if our ancestors are us? And what if our future grandchildren, whatever, are us? What if we are that? And my thing lately has been, if there's no separation and we are all one, we are all each other. So everything that's ever going on in this planet is actually happening, and I'm a part of that because I'm here and I'm meant to be one with it. I'm going off at a divergent. I'm working on this at the moment. If I'm all one and that git there is a rude bastard and he's like this, and I'm meant to be going, okay, interesting point of view, and I want to knock him to the ground and put his head on the concrete. Do you know what I mean? It's just, we are one. We are all one. So if we're judging anything, if we're fixed point of viewing about anything, if we're not allowing it all and judging none of it, including judgment, then we're not being conscious. You know, it's a real eye-opener. So
allow your stories. It's just sometimes they annoy me. For example, well, you know, like you, I lost my mum and dad died last year. And a few weeks ago, I chucked my boyfriend out of the house, and that sort of, and he was too much like my dad, and a little bit like my ex-husband, and stuff like that. And I sit down to eat at meals, and I start thinking about how they spoil dinner time, and then I get a lump and don't feel like eating my food, and I'm going, oh, go away, I'm not wanting to loop your crap, who does that belong to?
Sharon, can I suggest a process for you? So if there's anybody that you know around you, I would get biomimetic mimicry run on all those people that you've just mentioned. I'd definitely get BMM run if it's light for you. Yeah, because that's what it's like there's a part of you that's kind of taken something on there, and we do it unconsciously because we have those phenomenal capacities. And would you be willing to own, claim and allow your phenomenal capacities and everybody else on here? Yeah, everything that doesn't allow that.
Please. Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on ice, shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, cool.
And I'm getting a little bit up myself. I think, well, I'm greater than all three of you put together, you know, and it's like, and then I know that's a judgment because I'm judging you for being dickhead.
No, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Is it a judgment or an awareness?
It's a perception, obviously. I'm, you know, like
maybe it's an awareness. Some people are just assholes. They just are, you know, and it's an awareness, you know. I'm going to go on to this. I have booked a flight with a friend as I'm going over to see my mum. She's very sick, and I'm not doing the right thing by putting it out there that she stay well enough for me to see her. I'm also petrified of flying. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you separately. I'm going to talk to you before you go. All right, because it's coming up to 6 o'clock now, and that's a whole bag of stuff. So let's talk about that later, darling. Very interesting. Yes, please. Cool. How do you know you have an attachment and how to rid it? I hope that's okay to do that, Nairi. I just get that, you know, to go into all of those, but let's talk tomorrow, sweetheart. Talk to me about past. How do you know you have an attachment and how to rid it? So an attachment, Izzy, is that, do you mean an entity or an anti-conscious energy? Is that what you're talking about, darling? Oh, you're not on audio. Well, follow the energy, asking questions. So truth is there an entity here? So I can't work with you at the moment because you're not actually talking with me. Just ask, follow the energy. Is there an entity here? Is there an anti-conscious entity there? And destroy and uncreate all that. And you know, if you know, we have benevolent beings, and they can elevate us, they can inspire us and give us a lightness of feeling. If there's an entity there and you're feeling lousy, it's because it's not for your well-being, you know. So it's really how you're, you know, and sometimes they can be very surreptitious, they can be quite subtle. And, you know, days can go by and all of a sudden you've realized actually you've been feeling lousy, and then you check. But it's also, you know, maybe people have been projecting and impelling. This really is, these tools really are required to be used constantly. And eventually all these tools become who you be. It's almost like automatic, you know. I still use the clearing statement, but I also am aware of the energy of the clearing statement now. So if I'm working with somebody in the corporate world, I might not use the pod and poc, but I use the energy of it. You know, I just go, oh, clearing that, that's it, away we go, you know. Yeah, so so I'm unable to really, if you can write a little bit more information about that, but I trust that that's given you a little bit more on it. So before we go, Perry May, I don't know who you are, but you are so welcome. And Julia, welcome. And all the newbies that are going to be listening to this. I met two beautiful girls in a lovely shop in Brisbane, and they were curious about this, so they've joined Tea with Fee. How does it get any better? So hopefully this call will enlighten them some more. Always send me questions, guys, on Messenger if you require. I'm always happy to send you another question to clear something. And I've also decided that I'm now offering a sliding scale with my private sessions and trusting you to follow the energy. I'm now offering my sessions. They used to be 200, 250. I am now offering Australian dollars 100 to 250, and you can follow the energy. I decided to do that for a while, see how it goes. Somebody said to me, oh no, people won't follow the energy. They're just going to pay you the lowest they can. And I'm trusting that people will follow the energy and pay what's appropriate. I have a homeopath who has a sliding scale, and it's between 40 and 70 pounds. And I always give her 70 because I choose, even if I wasn't, that I'm abundant because I'm creating it. And that's not to say for you, just follow the energy. I just want to open that up. And so I'm doing that for the meanwhile, the next month or so. Just to see how it goes. I'd like to reach more people, and I'm just aware that there are a few people that have been unable to, and yeah, so it opens it up for me more expansively, and if not, it will go back up. So so any more questions? Thank you. Hi from France. Oh wow, who's in France? Julia. Julia, how gorgeous. I love this photo of you. It's beautiful. And Perry, you make me giggle with this gorgeous photograph of you. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions before we wrap up? I do actually want to tell you about a new telecall I'm doing. I've been called to do it for my creative pursuits. I'm doing a 3-part telecall called Gypsy of Consciousness. And it's about all realms of kingdoms, earth, entities, buildings, land. It's about going into the universe, going to other places, dealing with star nations. It's about going into the sea, the elementals. Well, I mean, just by letting you know what that is, I don't know where this call is going, but it's so expansive and it's calling me to do it. It starts on the 22nd of August at 7. There'll be a replay and a clearing loop. And there'll be an exercise to go. I'm just doing call 1 to start with and then going on 2, but it's on Facebook, so please ask me more about it if you're choosing. If you'd like a session, please let me know. I've got some freebies coming up for spacing in the next week. And yeah, thank you so much. Awesome to meet you. How does it get any better? Awesome to meet you too, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And how does it get any better? And just my challenge for the week is become more comfortable in those uncomfortable silences. See how much silence you can create in those uncomfortable silences where you have to fill in the space. Just see how you can cringe and go through it and just be comfortable, because that's quite good fun to do. Anyway, have a beautiful time, and I will speak to you again soon. Let me see where we are. Thank you, guys. And yeah, so what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the infinite being that dances in all reality for all eternity with total and utter ease? Yes, please. Everything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on ice, shorts, boys and beyonds. Bye, guys. Thank you.